NTA. You can't beat the rich.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by
Hello and welcome. This is NTA Tuesday Live and I'm Cyril Stover. Well, tonight's program is on issue-based campaigns and the 2023 elections. And as the campaigns intensify with different strategies being deployed by political platforms to canvass the votes of Nigerians in the next election cycle, there is a continuous reminder that issues rather than personalities should be the focus of the political actors. And at the center of this is the new Electoral Act, a guide to the campaigns based on ideologies and blueprints of ways to develop Nigeria rather than campaign of calumny, character assassination and personality attacks. Tonight, Tuesday Live, will discuss some of the threats to peaceful electioneering campaigns and how best to avoid actions that may result in rancor.
Nigeria's democracy, a pride of the African continent and the rest developing democratic nations. In barely 1 month, it will be time for the 7th round of general elections in the 22 years of the nation's uninterrupted democratic journey. Political analysts say, so far, the absence of a clear contrast in terms of political ideology and participation amongst the active political parties and their actors make the electoral process cumbersome.
Because most of the political parties do not have accurate party register of their members, and they cannot really say this is the number of party faithfuls they have.
As the nation's democracy grows, many are expressing hope that efforts by the current administration to on the electoral process through the new Electoral Act 2022 as amended will accelerate the country's democratic journey.
People must be able to understand that this is the time to identify competence, identify character, identify capability in identifying who they vote for, not political parties. This is the time for people to realize that in 2023 we must have an influx of leaders that have the same ideology, and it is the job of the of the government to provide basic amenities, infrastructures to make the life of an average Nigerian better.
You know, we're having young democracy, and then if you want to grow, to become an advanced to have an advanced democracy, you need to nurse it. Nursing is not something that you can do overnight. There are certain stages.
It is a consensus by stakeholders that political actors need to key into the dynamics of the electoral process by discouraging all forms of electoral violence as they dissect their manifestos and engage the voters.
You also see more polling, taking place, and that is at the benchmark of what is so important to the average Nigerian and to the voter. Name calling, I would say, are taking a back seat. It's now more of an agenda setting. I mean, recently I looked at some of the polls, and then the question that they pose is, what is more important to you as a voter in the forthcoming election? And in order of priority, they mention the economy. In order of priority, they mention security, they mention employment, they mention creating a level playing field. And there were the issues around religion, the issues around where you come from, had not taken a backseat.
Saliu Gwanara.
All right, that report sets the tone for today's discussion. Let's start off by introducing our guests. We'd like to welcome to this program Professor Rufai Ahmed Alkali, National Chairman of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. Thanks for being with us here today.
Good evening, sir.
All right. We're also joined by Otumba Biodun Ajiboye, Assistant Director, Media and Publicity Directorate of the APC Presidential Campaign. Thanks for being with us here.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Let me also welcome to this program Daniel Bola, a lawyer and PDP national spokesperson. He joins us via Zoom. Nice to see you tonight.
Thank you for having me. Good evening to everyone.
All right.
And good evening to you.
Okay. Well, as you well know, at some point, this program will be interactive. It means you can join in the discussion in the studio, but when it is that time, we'll remind you of the procedure and the process. For now, we'd like to start off with our guests. And yes, we expect to be joined by another discussant. I wonder if we have him. Okay. We are joined also by Kenneth Okonkwo. He's also a lawyer and spokesperson of the Labour Party. Good to see you. All right. We'll work on that, and so we can hear him loud and clear. But let's start off talking about the issues tonight. And of course, no pun intended, but it is issue-based campaigns. So we'll start off with you and just ask National Chairman of the NNPP, Professor Rufai Ahmed Alkali. You've been in the field, and things are hotting up as we move towards next month's election. So tell us, how has it been campaigning out there?
Well, thank you very much. First, we are happy today that in the next few days, let's say a month or so, we'll be having elections.
Right.
And of course, now is the season of campaign, and all the political parties, including our own, we are very much busy trying to reach out to the Nigerian public. And as it were, every political party has its own strategy of campaigning. And we, as our own, have been very mindful of the mind of the ordinary citizen in this country today. It is the best way to understand the situation is to ask ourselves, where are we today?
Okay.
This question, I believe, we raised it the last time I was here. And I think the consensus in this country is that we are not happy with what is happening today in the country. Well, why do I say that? All the essential elements that are supposed to come under good governance, as of today, they are absent. And the most essential one, no matter how much you want to wish it away, no matter about the politicking, about whatever, struggling for power, is that the fundamental thing is that the issue of the security of life and property of the ordinary citizen of Nigeria today has become something very difficult, extremely difficult.
All right. This is understandable.
So what I'm saying here is,
but it's all right to just turn it off and we can go ahead.
So this issue of life and security, the issue of is in fact a very fundamental basis of governance. Historically, why there should be government is that life and property should be protected. Okay. We are also now very clear that the security of life and property must also go with the basic essentials of life itself, conditions of living. And that today we have, even from the official channels, that poverty rate is increasing in this country, has been increasing extensively. More people are joining below the poverty level. Now, the issue of the market, the issue of insecurity in terms of the breakdown of relationship among Nigerians. Of course, historically, we used to have this problem between ethnic groups, tribes, of course, yes. It's a complex country like Nigeria. You cannot avoid that. But they were much more manageable. But today, the lines, the fault line has been so wide, so much so that now there is a lot of, unnecessary tension. Not before even the campaign started. Not before the campaign started. And that you find that there is lack of what you call elite consensus in managing these issues. And therefore, in my own view, is that having some of the ruling elements having failed to fulfill the basic requirements of ordinary citizens, they now push it over to others. Okay. So it's always the case is that it is other people from other regions, other tribes, other religions that are doing domination. So I think this is the context in which our party came out to say, no, we must address these issues in a fundamental way.
All right. So far, from what you have enunciated now, these have been the lines that your party has continued to toe and to talk about the issues and not about personalities. For you, that's what.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Let's come to Otumba Biodun Ajiboye of the APC. Well, you also have been in the field, and the campaigns are hotting up.
Correct.
And so let's hear from you how it has been, experience, and if you can say that you also have told the path of discussing the issues involved.
Interesting. For us, it's a familiar terrain, and there's actually nothing around here that is bemusing or surprising to us. We are doing it as we should do it, and you can see we're everywhere at the right time. We're everywhere. Alternatively, if we're doing a rally, we're doing a town hall meeting, we're engaging with the business community, we're just everywhere the right way. And we're communicating to the people. We, like I said, we are used to campaigning, we're used to politicking. It's really nothing. The issue of issue-based and personality and all of that, they are just normal. Some will address issues, some will address personalities, some will even drag the personalities to the gutter. It's part of campaign. The important thing we should learn is to know where to draw the line. I mean, free speech does not guarantee or does not mean that you cannot commit what they call libel. So you need to know where to draw the line. If you say XYZ has this kind of character, the onus lies on you to prove that it's of that character. And if you feel his character is inimical to the progress of Nigeria, such that it's not fit to stand election, approach the court if you are within the right time limit. So for me, there's really nothing abnormal about what is going on. We're up to the task. If they throw dirt at us, we throw dirt at them. If they throw normalcy, they throw reason at us, we throw reason back at them. That is politics.
Yeah, but you wouldn't initiate that throwing of dirt, would
well,
you?
not necessarily. We ordinarily don't. Why do we? You see, we are in the forefront. We are the party to beat. We are the ones going to take the stuff. People are seeing us in the forefront. They are worried. They are jittery. And they decide to say, okay, bring him down, our candidate. If you bring him down, we can get our way. Strategy for them. But obviously, we are not going to be sleeping, and we are indeed not sleeping. So for us at APC, we're comfortable, we're all right, we're doing what we need to do, we're doing what we know how to do, and we know that success, victory is guaranteed. It's not an issue.
All right, we'll return to some of the other issues, but let's go over to Daniel Bola. I think you can hear me clearly, and there's the same question we'll put to you. Give you a fair chance to tell us how the campaigns have been going, and have you been engaging in the issues? And like you heard the last speaker say, have you thrown dirt, or has dirt been thrown at you?
Well, thank you for having me, and good evening to Nigerians and viewers around the world. The issue for determination in this election is, one, whether or not APC has established a case on the standards set by them that warrant another term by the Nigerian people. If no, whether PDP, which I represent, presents a viable option for election as far as Nigeria is concerned. So this is the issue. APC came on board and set the standards that they are going to deliver on 3 mandates: on the security, on anti-corruption, and on the economy. They had 7 years going to the 8 years to establish the case. So if they are able to win, if you score them, then you can say they present the opportunity for another term. Now, on the economy, I want Nigerians to know that this nation, and at this time, there has never been in our history an economic confusion than the present situation where we're in. In fact, yesterday, we heard that FIRS released a report that said only last year, they generated about 10.1 trillion. So that means this government has had revenue. Any government that comes to power is going to be faced with the prospect of paying over 70 trillion naira that this APC-led government borrowed over a period of 7 years. This APC-led government came up with all kinds of politically induced economic policies that confuse investors, both domestically and foreign investors, which is why you have seen over the last 2 years, foreign companies in Nigeria are packing up to go because experts said the policy of this party is an inconsistent and incoherent policies. You have multiple exchange rates, which has confused investors. And so on the strength of the economy, all you need to know is to look at where we are today. Even when they boasted that they had, they call agricultural revolution, that we had food sufficiency. The economists said that the proof of food sufficiency is the stability of price in the market. But as we speak, 1 bag of rice is going for over 45,000 naira. And when they were asked, they said that even when they gave the subsidy, people were taking it to the borders to sell. So on the economy, they failed. So, on insecurity.
So when you go to the field, what do you tell the people about your party, the PDP?
You see, you have to be able to establish the case that, just that's why I formulated the issue, that APC has failed, and then you can tell Nigerians the viable alternative that you have, and which is the foundation I'm laying on the, because you have not mentioned, I've not mentioned anybody's name. We are talking about issues tonight, only issues tonight. On the security, they have equally failed because we have had a revolutionary acquisition of assets, military assets in the last 7 years. Yet we have not recorded success from the standard they set. Needless do I mention the one on anti-corruption. Not a time in the history of this country corruption has pervaded society than now. You are hearing dollars, 150 billion naira, you're all kinds. Recently, I also heard that the corruption, based on a report by EFCC, when you go to their website, the corruption in this administration is so monumental. So what viable option? Which of the other parties present a better option? PDP, of course, because as at 2015, before APC took over, you can check the math. All the prices of items, the economic policies, the kind of experts and principles that PDP introduced clearly put Nigeria on the path Now, what is our plan going forward? Atiku Abubakar, in our mandate, proposed a private sector-driven economy as the key to driving the economy of Nigeria. He said that upon assumption of office, is going to post a 10 billion naira card-carrying capital that will stimulate our economy by engaging the youth. And he gave the how of generating the money. He said by a pool of consortium and then sale of some of our national assets that are moribund, we will be able to generate the money. Lately, in his engagement, he has also discussed with the Nigerian people and told them most of the loopholes we have seen, owing from oil theft, if you look at some of this corruption that we mop here and there, multiple tax system, people unable to remit, all this is when you put together, it will give us a direction. Now, APC has expanded the tax net and they have been able to prove that they generated enough revenue. Where is the money? It has gone into private pockets. So that's the viable option, a private sector-driven economy. That is the path that PDP is presenting. And we all know, if you look at it globally, the economies that have succeeded are economies that have allowed the private sector to drive it. This government is a government of public sector intervention. Too much regulations and incoherent policies has denied opportunity to the people of Nigeria to engage and be involved in the economy to drive it forward. We look at power. Okay.
Okay, so fine. We'll return to some of the other issues later on. I believe that we can, at this point, go straight over to Kenneth Okonkwo, who was a lawyer and a spokesperson for the Labour Party, and he's hoping been able to deal with that glitch with regards to his audio. Yes, you're there, right there on the screen. If you can hear me, we put the same question to you. You have been in the field campaigning. Give us your impressions. How is it going? How are we adhering to the provision that let this be a campaign of issues rather than character assassination? Let's hear you. Oh dear. Can you unmute your audio? Just check on there and unmute your audio. If you can hear me. And then join with audio. All right? Okay, so let's try this again. Oh dear. Okay. Yeah, we can get this done. Just join with audio. But you can hear me, can't you? If you can hear me, just nod, and we'll be able to determine that this challenge is not from this end. Can you hear me? Okay. We'll work on that and get back to you. We'll still have to, we'll take note of that and give you time to speak on what your experience has been with the Labour Party. But back to Professor Rufai Ahmed Al-Ghali, National Chairman of the NNPP. We're experiencing the campaigns on a large scale at this point in time. Is it any different from what we've seen before? Have the main actors changed? What I mean is, are we now seeing a shift from the way politics was run before? At some point in time, there are people who at this period would be moving towards their ancestral homes with the fear that things might go out of hand. Has anything changed this time around?
Well, I really think the first question you raised also raised further questions, and I thought we should be able to tackle that one first before you address this one. You may recall, sir, and I believe our viewers also are aware, on 20th of September, the National Peace Committee invited all presidential candidates in this country and the national chairman of the parties and other leaders. And we met at the ICC, and it was all agreed that in this election that we are facing for 2023, there are criteria for conducting ourselves so that we as leaders, those who are aspiring to become president of this country, there is minimum irreducible code of conduct we must all follow, so that we should avoid things that will further heaten the tension and cause crisis and may even undermine the election as a whole. I have a paper with me here. I want to bring it out. About 3 days ago or 4 days ago, on Friday, I believe, the same National Peace Committee again invited the leaders of the presidential candidates and gave us what we call the first scorecard, or what has happened in the past 4 months plus. And what they have said, and that is why this Jibola's point is a bit also interesting in that regard. This is summary sheet of what they produce, and this is what they showed to the whole, everybody who was there. And this is all the criteria they have used in assessing the performance of the political parties. They have found that APC violated in at least 48 of those out of 96, and PDP violated in over 35 cases. And that is on the basis of, one, what the leaders have said, what the presidential candidates have said, what their spokesperson have said, what their supporters have said, and what of the social media handlers have said. But the good thing is that when you look at it here, you will see that NNPP has not been mentioned in any one of them, which means we are consistent. Of course, Ajibola can say if people throw that at him, he can throw back.
Ajiboye.
Yeah, Ajiboye. Thank you very much for reminding me, my friend. No? But we said that everybody has capacity to throw a mud at each other. But if you do that, then what is the difference between a leader and a motor packed out? And we said that in NNPP, we are guided by the need to address the issue concerning our people today. And now what we are saying here is that although somebody is saying that, well, the economy must be driven by private sector, but I think people are also forgetting that in 2008, when there was a second great crash in the world economy, the US government, that is a major proponent of private sector driven economy, the government had to intervene directly to revive the economy. So there is a level where government must intervene, and where, for example, you may allow the private sector to run. What we are concerned, we are more or less social democrats, in the sense that our presidential candidate, Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso, is concerned about the ordinary youth. How does he get school? How does he go to education? Because all the issues of all this uprising you are seeing, whether in the form of Boko Haram, in the form of some farmers and cattle rearers, or in the form of even some uprising in the southeast, when you dig inside, you find that some of these elements have not gotten the proper education that can enable them to run a meaningful life. So therefore, education is the foundation. That's why we said everything we can do, we must do together. And then I think I did say this sometimes back here too, that the security architecture as it is now, we have said there's a mismatch of resources. There is insecurity in the country which require personnel to manage, but we don't have the personnel, so to say. Then there are people who are looking for jobs, and then there are no jobs for them. So now to address this issue is to bridge this gap by increasing the number of security personnel, both police, military, and other security personnel, so that in the process we are also creating jobs for this same youth, so that they will not be floating. Again, sir, you may remember that there is nothing less than 10 to 20 million children that are floating in the country, no education. If every day somebody is graduating into 18 years old, and if in the next 5 years, 10 years, all of them have not gone to school and not gone to school, what will happen to them? They will be available for recruitment by all these kind of non-state actors who are looking for trouble in this country. So that's why our own concern is not to be fighting each other, because the APC and PDP have enough trouble among themselves. What I have said, and I'm very happy Kenneth is here, he was the one who said something and I like it. He said whatever PDP said about APC, they are correct. And whatever APC said about PDP, they are correct. It is their own. For us, we want to move away from that, because that era has passed. Nigeria are looking for change. Nigeria are looking for people who can reunite the country. But throwing away with that at each other will not solve our problem in this country. We are past that phase.
Okay, let's ask you on that same premise. And you were at that meeting. I mean, you meaning the APC was at that meeting too. So how do you respond to what took place and what has been in the public domain and the concerns of many Nigerians that at some point in time the parties might gradually be sliding into throwing what you call dirt at each other, using your own words?
The whole essence of peace accord is to ensure that campaigns don't go awry, don't go terrible, don't go so bad to the extent of becoming anarchical, basically. So it's a social mechanism by elder statesmen to say, look, we can't be here and political process begins to generate so much discord within the society to the extent that it may lead to bloodshed. So it's a welcome idea, and our party is a peace-loving party, the APC. Our candidate is a peace-loving Nigerian, and we will always abide by any peace accord that is put together to say, look, let there be peace, let the campaign be issue-based. There's nothing, to me, or to us as a party, there's nothing, wrong with that, initiative. And we would ordinarily, for no reason, go against such, peace initiative, because elections cannot even be conducted in an atmosphere of chaos anyway. So therefore, I really do not see any issues here. I haven't seen. I've been struggling to see the issues being discussed. I can't see. But what interested me was my erstwhile party mate and younger brother, whom I loved so much at the time before we parted ways, Daniel Boala, talking about corruption and struggling to exonerate the PDP. If there's any alliance you can give PDP, it should be corruption. PDP is master of corruption. How do you explain $2.1 billion kept in the hands of a man called National Security Advisor, and he distributed the money across board? And you are talking of insecurity. Daniel Boala should not be talking. Where? Daniel is my guy, but PDP should not be talking. What does PDP understand by running a good government? If they don't have an idea, they never did, they would not, they don't steal, and they never will. It's a waste of, I don't even think in good conscience we should discuss the PDP. On what basis?
We are discussing...
Of imagining that APC is messed up in his imagination and PDP will come and do things right. How? Is it not the same PDP, or is there another PDP? A man whose family says go and run because we want to be first citizens and embezzle money. Is that the man he's talking about, or there's somebody else? I'm confused. Daniel is brilliant. I don't expect him on this side of the divide. I'm worried.
Okay, let's return to some of these issues.
PDP.
Of course, the issues are well known by Nigerians. So at this point, let's try again to see if we can get Kenneth Okonkwo. Hopefully his audio would be fine at this time. Can you hear me now? Let's put him on if we can. Yes, there he is. Let's try again and see if you can make your opening statements and, of course, respond to some of the issues that have been raised here this evening.
Well, let me first of all thank you for this great invitation to the Nigerian Television Authority. Well, there is always a saying that you cannot do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, because that would be a technical definition of madness. We are approaching 24 years in democracy, and PDP and APC have been the party that have been piloting these affairs. PDP has 16 years, APC has 8 years, 2 tenure. And we have progressively gone down as a country. The reason APC gave for coming into power is that PDP has failed. One expected that APC would have done better, believing that they have analyzed the situation. APC came in and did worse than PDP. As a matter of fact, I've always said that PDP built a foundation of failure, and APC has built a skyscraper of failure on top of that foundation. Now, let us talk about what we have now. As I talk to you, people, we are kidnapped. In Igueben, their only offense is coming out to board a train that APC government told them has become safe for them to enter. And that was coming at the heels of almost 100 persons kidnapped in the north. And as if that was not bad enough, the same train has been derailed from Itakwe to Warri. All these things happening within a year. No end in sight. Do we talk about Kuje prison here in Abuja after 44 intelligence reports that terrorists were about to attack a prison, and yet they attacked the prison, killed some of our officers, nobody confronted them, and all the terrorists went away without confrontation? Are we talking about the economy? APC has built pyramids of poverty. In the First Republic, we used to hear pyramids of prosperity, and you could see the sub-regions paying for their expenses with their pyramids of prosperity. Granules in the north, cocoa in the west, and of course, palm oil in the east. APC brought rice and showed us pyramids in Abuja. Yet that rice is costing 40-something thousand, and they met the same rice costing 7,000 when they came in 8 years ago. So, now, the issue here is when you talk about corruption, when you talk about insecurity, when you talk about any indices of government, whatever failure you had in PDP, you have the exact replica in APC. These two parties are equal and opposite. They bear full responsibility. And I'll give you an example. When PDP came in, they told us that everything they are doing is a family affair. And you can see that even in the issue of corruption, there is a family affair. Their presidential candidate is now a special purpose vehicle for corruption. By
now, in all of this, what does the Labour Party bring as its own issues that it would debate? If you can hear me, in all of this, the issues you say, security, corruption, the economy. So what are the issues that the Labour Party would be bringing to the table in order to address these issues in its campaigns?
Thank you very much. Labour Party, and I'm going to summarize with a sentence: secured, united, productive, and prosperous country. So if you don't remember anything, remember this. This is what Labour Party is bringing in. Today in Nigeria, there is no production. Of course, how can there be? Farmers cannot go back to their farms to farm. Today in Nigeria, not in the north, not in the south. Today in Imo State, I can tell you within 1 week, a sitting local government chairman will be headed. Then if a man like that ought to be protected can be gruesomely murdered, then you can imagine farmers going to the forest to farm. Today, there is no production. In all the things APC has been pretending that they did for Nigeria, not one creative venture to produce anything in Nigeria.
All right.
That is why you see them borrowing. Now, Labour Party is going to shift emphasis from consumption to production through running a production-centered economy, driven by agrarian revolution and export-oriented industrialization. This is the core of our message. And this message cannot be done except the nation is secure, except the nation is unified. And I can tell you that my principle is unity exemplified.
Okay.
You cannot carry a nation that has been so divided by PDP and APC to achieve anything. I don't need to tell you about PDP.
All right, we'll return to these issues as we go on with this discussion. But at this point in time, we have some reports which will be rolling, and they're from different parts of the country. We'll start off with the very first of those reports at this point in time.
Preparations for the 2023 elections have reached its climax, with critical stakeholders dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Campaigns by political parties are also running simultaneously across platforms. Opinion leaders say there is need for more sensitization, as a well-informed electorate will limit negative campaigns and all forms of malpractices.
If politicians go out there and start bad-mouthing other politicians, if they start go out there and begin to rake up what is not true, or rather throw out there what is not true about any, citizens are watching. Citizens cannot be fooled anymore. And in any case, anybody that does badmouths others, obviously is giving us an impression that it doesn't have anything concrete to say.
Our election that is coming, we want everything to be peaceful, because there is no any other country like better than Nigeria. This is our home. We want even our youth to cast their vote. Immediately they cast their vote, they should go back to their houses immediately.
The only thing that we can use in maybe voting in people that want or voting them out is for us to cast our vote. So instead of making noise, why not get people engaged, encourage people, educate them, tell them to get their PVC.
Elections experts say are roadmaps to liberal democracies. A cross-section of professionals advise on how to ensure free and fair elections.
There is no way people can come out freely to vote for the candidates of their choice when the atmosphere is tensed. And the crime we are talking about is organized crime. And organized crime is a complex crime, you know. So I will urge the government to work seriously on how to create a peaceful environment for a successful democratic transition.
It is okay to have diverse opinions. Let's be civil about it. We can always talk about it. Don't get violent.
We should shun vote buying. There is nothing, no amount of money can buy your next 4 years.
As the clock ticks, with citizens full of expectations, experts, civil society groups, religious and traditional institutions, including the government, are enjoining Nigerians to live up to their responsibility by playing their part in the successful conduct of the polls. In Lagos, Amaka O.
And our next report is from Port Harcourt.
Energy, education, security, healthcare, unemployment, among key issues of concern to many Nigerians, are expected to form a focal part for politicians seeking to participate in the upcoming 2023 general elections. This is expected as political parties are at the moment traversing the nook and crannies of Rivers State, seeking the support of the electorate. Dr. Chris Akani is a political scientist and a traditional ruler who believes that the campaign messages across party lines lack content, unlike in the First and Second Republics, where manifestos are presented to the electorate at campaign grounds.
It is you that will go back, go to the people. What do you need? What do you want me to do? And this all these things will be encapsulated in what a party will call manifesto. You now carry it to the people. If you are telling them that you are going to settle security, how? What are your strategies?
For some observers on the streets, the campaigns are still laden with accusations and counter-accusations without feasible templates for programs and project development.
Quite a number of especially the presidential aspirants, are not really doing what we expect them to do. Some of them are really attacking one another, whereas we expected to hear issues, things that are affecting the common man, especially the issue of insecurity.
I have to address energy, address health sector, educational sector, and amend the law. If job creation, that is what I think they can do to us, and then empower the women then too as well. Even involve the women in politics as well. It shouldn't be men alone.
Proponents for change insist that the entrenchment of values critical to our successful elections is a collective responsibility for all stakeholders. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri.
Right, that report from Port Harcourt. So at this point in time, let's return to Daniel Bwala. And what I need to say, the question I need to put to you at this point is straightforward. These are the concerns of Nigerians, and so many Nigerians have spoken about it. They're worried about the dimension in which the campaigns are going. Well, even on this program, on this platform, the way comments are going, they might well go off the track. And Nigerians are asking, why are the parties not telling us how they intend to deal with insecurity, how they intend to give the economy, a shot in the arm, how they intend to address the energy deficit, how they intend to improve education, how they intend to cut down the high rate of unemployment. Nigerians are worried that they're not seeing that much, except for the personalities involved, the candidates, about who they are and what they are, and allegations against them. Why is it extremely difficult to discuss what parties can do to turn things around rather than who the opponents are?
Dr. Cyril Stover, I need you to know that democracy is noisy, even in the most advanced countries of the world, where democracy is being discussed, whether in the parliament, in the executive branch, sometimes even in the judiciary. You find this noise. It is the sharing of ideas, and where ideas are conflicted, sometimes emotions can rise. The most important thing is that there should be rules of engagement, like what the Peace Committee set up. And that would take me first back to the NNPP prof. When he gave his own analytics on the findings of the Peace Committee, that NNPP had the lowest engagement, the answer is not far-fetched. Nobody is mentioning NNPP. The NNPP is not considered as a factor. So definitely, if you look at the analytics, there are no mentions on them. Therefore, there will not be reactions on them. That's basically the reason. You will never find APC talking about NNPP or PDP or Labour. Clearly, the path is three. It's between PDP, APC, and Labour. That's the reason why in their own. Then secondly, I also have to let you know, Dr. Cyril Stover, and by extension the Nigerian people, that apart from what you stated in your party's manifesto as that which you plan to do to Nigerians, your personality is also crucial. Because when you become a president, the decisions you will make will be flowing from the character, your own character, your sense of judgment, your fitness and capacity and capability. So discussing the certificate, for example, or the character, or the fitness, or even in some cases the health of the people running for the office is as important as those information in their manifesto, because after all is said and done, somebody is going to sit behind the resolute decks, like they call it in America, and call the shots. Barack Obama said in 2008 when he became president, and they had the world had recession, he said the Wall Street collapsed, and there were discussions. Different people in his cabinet were offering different ideas, and all of the ideas were wonderful. He said, but somebody needs to make a decision. He asked all of them to go home, and he stayed till the early hours of the morning, reflecting on the pros and cons of the decision he will take. and each of the suggestion and opinion given by the experts had its own, positives and negatives. Somebody must take responsibility. So if that is required, then the character, the fitness, the health, the capacity, the history, and everything around the person running is as important, because Nigerian people must know. That is why that discussion. Let me go to the Labour. The Labour Party, sometimes, honestly, I don't even engage with them. Whenever they start talking, it seems to me like we're watching, Mr. Spencer, because it is like you're trying the waters, you have never been there. When they say APC and PDP, and they try to present their candidate like somebody imagine like a clap of thunder out of a blue sky, they don't know that their own candidate has been, like every other politician, has been in politics for upwards of 20 years.
Correct.
As a matter of fact, he's a PDP member until just before the primaries. That was when he moved to Labour. And the marriage in Labour is like, when you are in science laboratory, there are certain chemical combinations when you put together, you find a negative reaction. That's what it is. The Labour, by their very nature and constitution, they are socialist, and they abhor the removal of fuel subsidy. That's Labour. And that's the whole essence of Labour anywhere in the world. Now, the candidate running on that platform is a full-fledged capitalist who believes in free market economy, who believes in the removal of subsidy. And so when he begins to run on that platform, sometimes I laugh, because assuming without considering that he becomes president, it will be 2 days before you have problem with them, because that is fundamentally the divergent area. But there is even a deeper issue with them. The candidate running on that platform actually believes the opposite of what he proclaims, because he talks about the hallmark, and you have heard Kenneth said it, the hallmark of their message is that they are going to transform the economy from consumption to production. That's anywhere you go. It is like they are reciting Bible or Quran, consumption to production. So let us interrogate it. And you interrogate that by the very philosophy and ideology of the person, the messenger. Now, Peter Obi, who is on that platform, all of his life never believed in production. All of his business and his entire essence is on consumption. He imports to the bearers of even toothpick in his department store. There is not a single product that he sells that he produced. Apart from when he was a governor, he established a factory where they produce beer, to get people intoxicated. Apart from that one, which is a state-funded project. Meanwhile, Atiku Abubakar is a private sector-driven person who has created jobs in this country by his productive capacity. He has set up factories and industries that recruited and employed people. He has also empowered people. So they are the very opposite of what they talk. And so when they talk, sometimes I laugh, because if you recall, Mr. Cyril Stober, long before the primaries and the campaign started, everywhere you go, you will hear Peter Obi talk about Bangladesh, China, Egypt, and the rest. When he was reeling out falsehood, as soon as the campaign started, people started fact-checking. As we speak today, he has stopped that. So what am I trying to say in essence with Labour? They cannot be trusted because of, one, lack of understanding of the nationhood of Nigeria. He doesn't even know. He will ask himself and the vice presidential candidate, what is your plan on the security? They say it is in our chest. We will deliver it when we come on board. Okay, differ. You cannot tell Nigerians your basic vision for security. They asked him about the economy. The only thing he kept saying was production, consumption, production, consumption. So how do you translate that? This man, when he becomes a president, I make the case, he will expand his business, just like the way the candidate of APC, when he becomes a president, which God will not permit, he will take over the FIRS of Nigeria. Alpha Beta will take over. And this Alpha Beta is they don't even know, with the greatest respect, what SPV is all about. Alpha Beta is an SPV established by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu with certain individuals, as you can see from the document, who are now the alter ego of the company. The Peter Obi established an SPV in England that managed the portfolio of all his companies together. So anytime they open their mouth to condemn SPV, they will have to explain what businesses their principals are running, because if we sit here, I will produce for Peter Obi alone.
We'll take the same question in a different way to the other discussants here. And this one is is still along the same lines.
Yeah.
Which is simply that there's little to choose from all the parties that are campaigning. In terms of ideology, they have not demonstrated anything different. And that is why it's easy for politicians to crisscross these parties, since it's not about ideology, but basically about how to acquire power. And it is seen that it is in this attempt that it becomes difficult to produce a blueprint as to what they have for the country to develop. And so the only thing to engage in is, as you put it, I'm using some of your words, pull him down.
Dr. Cyrus Toba, can I tell you the truth? No, really.
Because that's elevated me tonight.
Can I tell you the truth? Right. The last speaker spoke intelligently. I give it to him.
Right.
You know, I find myself laughing all the while. You know why? That gentleman from Labour was in APC. His boss, Peter Obi, was in PDP. He was governor in Anambra. People of Anambra, notable people of Anambra have come out to say he was empty and he did nothing. I wonder how they think that 2023, Peter Obi will be the savior of Nigeria. If Nigeria is rotten and you point at people to have contributed to the rot of Nigeria, Peter Obi is actually one of them. Where did he get this rejuvenation that people are beginning to celebrate? I wonder. I can pardon my children when they talk about Peter Obi because I know they do not know him. But I can't pardon an adult like Kenneth Okonkwo, who we worked together at APC. What was he doing in APC if APC was so bad? Anyway, that apart. Now, let me tell you, to be president of Nigeria is not a tea party. It is not a question of playing on people's intelligence. Gather some young boys and start to tell them what they do not know, and they begin to get euphoric and feel, oh, no, this is the man. No. Let's look at what experience, the years of experience in running Nigeria. The experience of Peter Obi is nothing to go up, is nothing to talk about. We all know that. That's why he doesn't talk about his experience in Anambra. He goes all over the city, all over the cities. Not even a commissioner comes out to say, oh yes, I know him, I recognize his leadership. Experience-wise, Peter Obi is a failure. Now, let's talk about Atiku Abubakar. If Daniel Bwala ever knew that the story of special purpose vehicle will come out, he would not have joined Atiku. I know him. I know he has a lot of integrity. He's probably extremely embarrassed now as I speak. Now, let's talk about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is a man, whatever you want to say about him, there is no new thing to say about Asiwaju. We have been saying this since 2002. Everything they say about Asiwaju today have been on the table since 2002, for 30 years. There is nothing to say. Anyone who wanted to go to court would have gone and come. We have 10 cases from PDP in court, all trashed out. The Asiwaju has experience behind him. We can see the experience. Just yesterday, the president of Nigeria commissioned a few big global industries. Asiwaju's thinking reflected in those creations. This is how to choose a leader that will take Nigeria out of the woods. If you don't know, let me educate them. The Ikota rice mill we are talking about is will feed Nigeria. They are talking about the price of rice. What is the place of global inflation? Does anybody have an idea? Now, we are talking about Dangote refinery. Lagos presented an enabling environment. Is the reason why Dangote could cite an industry in Lagos. We are talking of Lagos Blue Line. Are these things jokes? When you see a man with the right intellectual acquisition, brain, to plan for the future, and you are now using politics to say he's a drug this, he's a certificate that, what are we talking about? Are we really interested in moving Nigeria forward? We need to ask ourselves basic questions. Tell me among all of them. I won't talk about Peter Obi because I know we can't even afford to talk about it. A party that INEC said they can't find agents to represent them at election. Is that a party? Let's not talk about them. Let's talk about PDP. Atiku does not have that experience. He said Atiku has factories, industries. Is it Intel that government banned from NPA, that is the industry, or the university in Dadabawa that poor people cannot go? Some of these things, that's why I respected his view on character. The character of the person matters a lot. Check the character of Asiwaju, check his leadership. Check how many Nigerians have become extremely good administrators, leaders of Nigeria, through Asiwaju's tutelage. This is how you know a leader that has a... Look, as far back as 2000, as 1999, Asiwaju had started to think about independent power project. That's how you know a man who knows what a nation deserves. If Asiwaju had not been who he was, how would he have been able to put successive governments in place to begin to execute projects, policies, plans successively? This is what you need to think about.
All right.
As Atiku Abubakar as vice president, tell me his achievement. Most of the industry they privatize them in their pockets. We all know all those facts.
Well, there's still a
Mr.
lot to talk about.
You need to let them understand precisely that experience is the master of the game.
Okay, there's still a lot to discuss about this and how the campaigns are going. At this point in time, we'll take a short break. When we return, the phone lines will be open, and that means you can get to be part of the discussion in the studio. We'll remind you of the process, the procedure, and what to do when that happens. So stay with us on NTA Tuesday Live. We'll be back shortly.
The 157-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan Railway is the first double-track standard gauge railway to be built in West Africa. The Mobolaji Johnson train station is a masterpiece, an infrastructure that is gradually becoming an iconic building in Lagos State. The modern facilities put the station on a world map of train stations. Likewise, other new train stations across the country built to world-class standards. The train and its convenience is indeed an admirable effort, with commendations from Nigerians.
This is a station that we have to commend the federal government for putting a beautiful face, empowering us in Lagos State, not only in economic and political arena.
I can say that I'm really impressed with the infrastructure that's in place. Kudos to the Minister of Transportation. Kudos to the federal government.
Truly, good things are coming out of Nigeria, and the federal government is deserving of all the applause. Tuesday Live, a network issue-oriented innovation talk show.
Thanks for staying with us. And this part of the program, you can get to be part of the discussion. The numbers to call will be on your screens. We advise you to take advantage of them. We say this every Tuesday. If you're calling in tonight and your call gets through to the studio, do us a favor, turn down the volume of your TV set. That's the way to avoid the hurlback or the echo. And we also encourage you to go straight to the point, keep it short and simple, and not to worry too much about the greetings. A simple hello would just be enough. Well, it seems that the phones are already ringing, and we have a James from Delta, right? Good. James from Delta, go right ahead.
On. Tell him to go ahead.
James from Delta, are you there?
Go ahead.
James, well, lots of people who will be calling in tonight, so if we can't get you online, we'll just have to move on. Hello, James, are you there?
I'm listening to you. Yeah. So the man that is so complaining about PDP or APC now, that is not what we are talking about now. Like for the youth, the leaders of tomorrow we are talking about. Those people, they have already passed their own time. We have know their system. We need a new person inside the system so that we go along with people. If they are saying those ones are fine, let's try another different person entirely. So they can't say that people is this, is that. No, that's what we want. We need a change. The change is not for the old people, it's for the new people. We need to choose from there. That's what to contribute about.
All right. Thank you very much, James. Well, I was just quickly going to say that when you call in, you go straight to the point, and we still have a number of reports which we'll take here, and then we'll return to the studio because we'll still have to give Professor Rufai Ahmed Al-Qadi a chance to respond to the concerns of Nigerians, and especially for him to, I mean, tell us if truly he believes the parties all have their own ideology, and Nigerians seem to think that they're all the same, and it's not a question of ideology but just who gets power. But quickly, do we have anyone else who's calling at this point? Right, so let's quickly take this other report. I believe we have one from Oka at this point.
Political campaigns, often referred to electoral campaigns, by which representatives are chosen or referendums are decided. Ahead of the forthcoming general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, said campaigns for presidential and National Assembly elections commenced on September 28, 2022 and ends midnight of February 23, 2023. While that of governorship and state houses of assembly began on October 12, 2022 and ends midnight of March 9, 2023. To this end, key players in the political terrain, especially those vying for various political positions, have hit the ground running politically through campaigns to win supporters and electorate in readiness for the D-Day. However, there have been a lot of emphasis on issue-based campaigns to avoid heating up the polity and endangering political stability.
The very essence of you vying for any political post is for you to lend in your voice, your expertise, you know, your exposures and awareness. So people should rather concentrate on issues because that is where your manifesto will be.
If you start calling names, start castigating your opponents, you start a campaign of calumny, you have nothing to offer as a politician. Nothing to offer. Now this president aspirant or candidate is a thief. The other person is a thief. The other person got his certificate through GCE. It's inconsequential. The issue is that what are you going to offer to the nation?
The general view of the respondents remains that the government has tried in putting things in the right perspective, especially with the introduction of the bimodal voter registration system, BVAS. Hence, the electorate should reciprocate by coming out to cast their ballot, as their vote, they say, will certainly count.
Every citizen is responsible. He is responsible to his civic duties.
Everybody wake up in the morning, you say, this nation is the worst. This nation is destroyed. This nation, nothing moves. The earlier we begin to pray for our nation, the earlier we begin to pray for the corporate existence of Nigeria, the better God will answer our prayer.
In Oka, Chinye Fesi Okoye.
All right, the report from Oka, but we're not done yet. We still have another in the series. This next one is coming from Kanu. Let's get to see it, and then we'll return to the studio.
Kano is seen by political observers as a battleground for many reasons. This is in view of the fact that the state, which was once a PDP base and later moved to become the APC stronghold, now has another factor as the presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party hails from the state. With this, eyes are now on Kano. However, some critical stakeholders are coming out with some modalities aimed at refocusing the attention of politicians from politics of bitterness to issue-based campaign, as candidates are now invited to be drilled by citizens on how they intend to govern the state, in addition to committing themselves to the peaceful process.
Why are you running elections? Why do you want to be governor of Kano State? What kind of states do you want to govern? How has our country been governed before now?
The candidates themselves have now realized the importance of peace, as evident in the way they interface among themselves during debates.
Even here you can see we laugh, we talk to ourselves as Guba candidates, and that is what we preach to our followers. We don't abuse people. We always carry our activities with decorum. We don't cast aspersions on individuals.
Stakeholders insist that politicians are key to achieving peaceful process. As such, they must understand this fact.
If from now a candidate are using hate speech and other languages that will incite the electorate, they are kind of, undermining the process.
Should lead by example. What I mean here is he should guard against making unnecessary comments that may likely incite violence. He should avoid derogatory statement that will belittle his opponent.
The politicians will continue to play as they are playing now until we checkmate them. That is the only solution, because everybody is targeting a seat or a position. He doesn't care about the road that will lead him to that position. It is only the chair or position he is looking for.
They are of the opinion that proper application of the law is also critical, in addition to public enlightenment on the imperative of peace to national existence. In Kano, Amin Umar.
All right, already waiting on the line is Johanna calling in from Jos. So Johanna, if you're there, go ahead. Hello, Johanna, are you there? Johanna, are you shy of speaking?
This is head mic.
Oh, I'm talking.
Right, go ahead.
All right. Hello, gentlemen. I greet you all. My point this evening is I want to start with the APC spokesman who actually spoke about he will excuse his children if they support Peter Obi because they don't know Peter Obi also. It is clearly indicated that in his house is a failure, APC is a failure, because his children are supporting Peter Obi. So he's only excusing them because he doesn't know what to tell them. That's the only thing I will tell you. Children are supporting Peter Obi, so you are a failure. APC is a failure already in Nigeria. And for Daniel Bwala, I know you are a fantastic analyst, but I know that you love Peter Obi. So I just want you to reconcile with Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo as barristers. Support Peter Obi to bring change mantra in this country. Well, so that we can even have a test of a new or a young person in this nation. Very soon, APC will say Dangote refinery is an idea of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Why not let's leave the campaign to the representatives of the parties, and you just choose to question what they have for you. I think it would be better if we did it that way. If we let the representatives of the parties now, put their best foot forward. So your role would be to question whether they carrying out campaigns the way they should, they're not doing it according to that. So thank you for calling in anyway. But let's come back to the studio and raise this matter with Professor Rufai Ahmed Al-Kali of the NNPP. Why is it difficult for politicians to sell their own product without having to mention their opponents? Why is it difficult? Is it because they're all the same? There's no question of ideology? Of why? Why would it seem so difficult that you cannot say this is what we intend to do and not worry about what someone else has done or is doing?
Well, thank you very much. I think I was listening with a lot of amusement in the altercation between Ajiboye and Damilu Bala, and I'm not surprised. In fact, suddenly I realized that the very issue we are talking about, that we should target on issues concerning Nigeria and the future of Nigeria, that is not their primary concern. Already they have forgotten that they are on this day, Tuesday live, and that they are supposed to tell Nigerians what they ought to do for this country, having failed in this 23 years, 24 years. Now you can see they are still going on to do maslinging on television here. They are not even, even hiding themselves. They are abusing each other, calling name by name. Condemning Peter Obi, condemning Peter Atiku, condemning Asiwaju, and that is it. Now, there's something that Bola said, and I was surprised as a lawyer, as a politician, that because the National Peace Committee has said that PDP has infringed on all the variables, all the relevant categories of infringements, that is not good as a party trying to unite the country and bring peace. And APC also is the biggest offender, because there's no criteria for punishing them. Or now suddenly, since we are not offenders, then we are inconsequential. We are not surprised, because this is the same reason why we left PDP and APC over 2 years ago. And suddenly I felt that the future of Nigeria, if it's left in these hands of these two people, two political parties, this country will go down the drain, worse than where we are today. For the obvious reason that they are condescending, they assume everybody is irrelevant. Damn well, will come out. A person like my friend is saying, highly respected, we say that NNPP is irrelevant. In Nigeria today, I don't know where he has been. Maybe he's in either Honolulu or Fiji or somewhere. He's coming up maybe from Australia. And that is the sole trouble, because they have already assumed that they have won this election. Even before we started going to the ballot, they have won the election. Therefore, he has forgotten that as much as you know PDP, we also know PDP very well. And PDP of today is not the PDP of 1998 and 1999. It is not the same at all. And therefore, as far as we are concerned, PDP and APC are two sides of the same coin. That's why even when they are making their own campaigns, they continue mixing the names, and as if it is one political party. And that's why when you say about the issue of ideology, there is no difference, because as far as they are concerned, it's a graph for power and power and power alone. And they have gotten the power and they have misused it and abused it. Sir, let me tell you this. Konkoso was a member of the PDP. A solid member. Everybody knows what Konkoso could do in Kano, what he did as a governor 2 times, as a minister, as a senator. But PDP felt people like Konkoso are irrelevant. And he moved out of there. When he went to APC, he played a very decisive role in 2015. APC won election. After that, the fellow is no more relevant. Now that he has moved out of these two political parties, and through his own goodwill, perseverance, commitment, dedication, along with many other members who are his supporters, we have moved and established a new political party, which was already there on the ground for over 22 years or 21 years by the time we marched last year. Now we have brought out a new perspective, new development, new direction, and NNPP is going through their noses, through their eyes, and they are screaming hard beyond what they are saying on the screen here. Down below, they know that NNPP is not something to be taken for granted. And therefore, for us, we have never gone down to begin abusing Asiwaju or abusing Atiku. That's not our business. What we know is that we are focusing on supporting and helping Nigeria to come out from where we are. And as it is today, anybody who wants to sell the asset of Nigeria, Nigerian assets, not the further investment, selling the asset, and then unfortunately there's this notion that this asset being sold or being contemplated to be sold is not going to any other person but to children of those who want to sell and their family members. And then are not encouraging investment. No, they are talking about divestment. You are like sharing the asset, bifurcation before you dissolve the country. We say no to that. We say that this country, you must create the environmental condition for foreign investors and domestic investors to go invest in every sector of the economy. But for spokespersons of these political parties now to be attacking each other openly here, it means that we have not gone far away from where we started. All right. It means that we are still moving in circle, and I think I agree with the question from the position mentioned by James from Delta, that all these people, they should move away and leave us in peace. Okay.
We'll go back to the phones. We have Obinna, who has been waiting on the line, calling in from Lagos. Obinna, hello. Go ahead, please.
I'm still waiting.
No, go ahead, speak. We're listening to you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Obinna from Lagos. I'm so interested in this conversation. Honestly, it's a nice one because Nigeria is watching. And I'm disappointed in all of them, particularly the APC and PDP. They fail to know where we are going. They fail to understand that the youth are eager to know what is happening in politics today. Kudos to Labour Party and the NNPP, because they acted mature than the APC and the PDP, to the extent that they touch the area Nigeria is looking for. But the other people came to attack themselves because they know where they belong. And my prayer is that let them give us what they have, what they are to do for Nigeria, what they have in mind, particularly security. Somebody came up with a proportion. Nigeria have never expressed such a thing. And we need such a thing. APC came last 4 years ago in name of a change. We thought that the change they came for is positive one, not knowing that it is a negative change. 1 liter of fuel today is not even everybody that can afford it. Where will we start? Is it PDP? Is it APC? I wish I would be this man that wears this eyeglass. We will not take it again.
All right.
If we were to talk of age for Bola Tinubu, health issue, where will we start?
Okay. You know,
Nigeria,
something, Obinna.
This is what the person can produce. This is age.
Obinna, it's okay. We will try as much as possible to stick to the things we know, because that is the basis of the very next question, the next issue that I'm about to raise with the discussants here tonight. And let me start that with Kenneth. And this is how some Nigerians have summed it up. Misinformation and disinformation are playing a key role in disrupting the smooth flow of the campaigns this time around. In the past, when we had this kind of experience, the social media had not been so entrenched as it is now. Today, it's possible to do all kinds of things and not be certain what is authentic, what is fake news. And this is all flying around, and we can see it in the campaigns. Nigerians have raised questions about that. So what can be done to conduct this electioneering in such a manner that allegations based on things that have gone viral on social media are not taking hook, line, and sinker for the truth with little or no effort to verify?
Well, thank you. I want to believe you're going to give me a lot of time, because this is my second time of talking, because I came in late. Cyril, doctor, you can see that Nigerians have called from their homes, from the north, from the south, from the east, from the west, from all the tribes in Nigeria, and they are all unanimous on one thing: P2B is the answer. By their own answer, they said it. One even pleaded with Daniel Boala to come over to P2B. Nigerians telling you that PDP and APC have been weighed on the scale by Nigerians, and they have been discarded. That's by the way. Now, Daniel Boala said that democracy is noisy. With profound respect to him, I agree with him that their democracy in PDP is noisy, because empty vessels make the most noise. Their democracy is noisy because they are exchanging ignorance through argument. You can see the 5 governors accusing their own candidate of corruption openly. You can see Wike telling you that IU is the most corrupt national chairman. You can see Atiku promising and failing, propensity to corruption, and using money to his way out in all things, establishing special purpose vehicle for corruption. It's noisy. No, in Labour Party, we don't make noise, because we exchange ideas through dialogue. Please, Our own democracy is not noisy. With respect, our democracy is civil and it makes sound, not noise. So having said that, now let us talk about achievement, because they talked about achievement. When Peter Obi was governor, United Nations Development Program, UNDP, rated him #1 in MDG goals, and we will be fact-checked. Mohammed Abubakar, the IGP of police, rated him #1 in security. Abubakar said since Obi came into power, not one successful bank robbery has succeeded. Now, he was rated #1 as the governor that built the highest number network roads, 800 kilometers. In poverty rate, he was rated #1. Anambra was the least poor nation, least poor state in the whole nation by PDP, Director General of NAPEP, Dr. Magnus Pakol. We will be fact-checked. He was rated #1 in unemployment. He was rated #1 in education, where Anambra was transformed from being the last to being the #1. In corruption, he was rated best because the said that Anambra State is the least indebted state in Nigeria.
Is fine, honestly.
So, #1 in everything, and we should be fact-checked. Now, PDP, the candidate of PDP, is rated #1 in corruption by his boss, Obasanjo, who called on God to punish him.
Get it to go. You see, we're sliding back into the same thing we're trying to walk away from.
No,
it's okay for you to sell. It's okay for you to sell your candidate and your party.
Yes.
But again, people are saying, why can we not just stick to selling what we have? Because there is a concern that by the time you hit out at the next person, they would also throw back, and you would gradually degenerate to a situation where rancor would start. So what do you think about that?
No. Good. No. It is allowed. Honestly, I am looking for people to give me evidence why I should not follow Peter Obi. We are all volunteers in Labour Party. If you tell me evidence with facts that Peter Obi of Labour Party has misconducted himself in any, I am ready to stop being a spokesperson and take my words on it.
Okay, let me tell him.
I am a volunteer. Now, let me come in. I've not finished because I just came into this late.
All right.
Now,
you know what we'll do? We'll ask you to hold on a while. We have a caller who's been waiting for some time, Abdullahi from Yobe. We'll just ask you to pause a while. We'll go on to the phones and take Abdullahi, then we'll return to you to make your concluding statements on that. So we're not cutting you off. We just want to take a short while to listen to Abdullahi, who has been on the phone for quite a while. Abdullahi from Yobe, go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
You're right.
Can you hear me?
Sure.
Hi. Very good. You have insisted constantly throughout the discussion you have been trying to call the attention of the discussions around issue-based campaign. Somehow, they are interested in accusing each other. My concern here is about the manifestos of the political parties, what they have towards solving the current challenges of the country. Today, we are facing problems of insecurity, the problems of out-of-school children, the problems of unemployment of the youth. Seriously, up till now, I have not seen any of the political parties so far mention their solutions to this problem. And in addition also, sometimes back, there were some clamoring about budget padding. There are problems about a lot of money being expended on the National Assembly. Their salaries, their allowances, and so much is been telling on the budget of this nation. We want a political party that will come in to see onto these matters and to see how we can still make our laws reduce some of this unnecessary explanation in the National Assembly. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Abdullahi from Yobe. Thank you. All right, so we'll return to the spokesperson for the Labour Party for him to conclude. And I understand that Daniel Bwala of the PDP has his response to the issues raised. Yes, let's hear you and conclude.
Dr. Cyril, I'm going to make a solemn statement. Some time ago, we had an head of state. His name is General Buhari. He lined up 3 youths on the stake and fired them for drug trafficking. He sent some politicians to jail, some 200 years, for corruption, stealing government's money. I am calling on President Buhari that today a drug baron who sent some of those kids by the judgment of the court is on the ballot in APC.
You know,
I'm calling on President Buhari, a corruption czar who openly confessed that he established SPV for corruption. He must not hand over to them.
I'm sorry, we would not let you make these statements because, again,
and
we
now,
do not
this
have
is my conclusion.
any empirical evidence to back up the things that you say. And as a network, we also have the things that are said on this network. So we might not let you go on that tangent. We'd rather you spoke about what the Labour Party was going to do. As far as we know here, we have those that the independent parties that the Independent National Electoral Commission had listed as those who would be contesting the elections this year. Any other thing, we do not have such an empirical evidence to it. So we might not let you state those things. But we would still give you a chance to talk about what the Labour Party will do when we return to you after this call from Sunday, who's calling in from Abuja. Hello, Sunday. Sunday, are you still there? Okay, we lost that. But let me say this. Initially, before we took the call from Abdullahi.
Where are you calling from?
Oh, hello. All right. Initially, before we took the call from Abdullah, who called in from Yobe, Daniel Bwala, the PDP, had indicated that he wanted to respond to some of the issues. I do hope that's what he'll be doing now, and to stay away from the path which we have just said we shouldn't go down. Let's hear you.
He said democracy is not noisy. But look at what he's doing. Can you be civil, please? He said democracy is not noisy. Can you be civil? I have been handed the floor to talk.
No. You have been raising your hand.
No, but you are not the moderator. You said democracy.
Okay, at this point,
that's why you raise your hand.
At this point, Kenneth Okonkwo, let me appeal to you to just hang on a while. You still get a chance to speak. We still have some time to go. So just let's hear Daniel Bwala, and we'll return to you, and you can conclude what you wanted to say.
The reaction
let's hear you.
of Kenneth simply proves that democracy is noisy. What he did is not bad, because he's trying to advance. He's trying to advance his point. So you cannot say like he's bad or he's uncivilized, but he's trying to politely advance. That is what makes democracy interesting and noisy. Now, the problem is that Kenneth, as an astute and well-accomplished actor, sometimes, even in this campaign, thinks that this is living in bondage, or some of these other videos that he acted. Because in drama, it is called make-believe. That is to say, it is not the truth, but act it as if it is the truth. That is a hallmark of Labour Party. And I can tell you,
all right,
he mentioned about 5 items here.
Okay.
I kept saying fact check. This one is number 1. This one, and none of those things that he said, he can point to a source with empirical evidence that is the conclusion. That's the issue I wanted to join.
We'll
now,
take
for
another
example,
call.
I told Mohammed Abubakar, the IGP.
We'll return to the phones now because we have limited time and so many people are calling in. Let's hear Felix from Kaduna who's calling in tonight. Hello, Felix. Thanks for staying on.
Yes, I can hear you.
Are you there, Felix?
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you.
Right, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Okay, I can hear you. He has not asked me to. Yes. Yes, sir. Good evening. Okay. Hello. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm here. Okay, my own opinion on the matter tonight is that, honestly speaking, APC has failed, to be honest, because I understood that. Yes, I understood that there was a documentary I was reading.
Sorry,
that
Felix.
if a crisis lasts for more than 24 hours,
okay,
the governments are involved.
The question is not about who has failed or who has succeeded or who has passed. The question is, have the parties been sticking to campaigning on issues rather than throwing brickbats at each other?
Okay,
that's
okay.
The
issue
tonight.
now we are having, for me, I feel, is the lawlessness we are having in Nigeria. I think most of our politicians don't go through the constitutions. And I want to ask a question. Is it that the constitution doesn't have there is no constitution that is being drafted where a certain age of people can't rule the nation? Because I don't understand where we keep having aged people like this and the young ones are there doing nothing.
Okay.
Because I remember even the massacre at Lekki Tollgate is another problem to the youth.
You can hear me,
the youth,
Felix,
to get
if
jobs
you can
and
hear
other
me,
things.
let me just ask a question if you can hear me. Do you think that the parties have been conducting their campaigns based on issues only? Yes or no? All right. So that's the whole issue here. And that's the question which we would put to you. A discussant here says politics is essentially noisy. There are those who say politics is conflictual. Now, I've had different opinions. I've spoken to people, and some do not agree that it's essentially conflictual. But for you, have the parties, and this is not exonerating the APC or any other party, have the parties strictly observed the campaign without resorting to the character of the contestants or hurling insults at each other?
Essentially, no. But it can hardly be done.
Why? Why is it impossible?
Political campaigns are not they are not church festivals. Why are we trying to bring an utopian circumstance that will never? Political rallies and campaigns are all, look. Does anybody actually understand what power means and struggle for power? And we are saying that somebody wants to be president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a population of 200 million people, and only 5 political parties or thereabouts, maybe 2 or 3 actually.
That's okay.
You know, and you are expecting that they should act as if they are doing a Catholic church.
But then, given
it's not possible.
Given the Nigerian
ideas
situation,
are
naturally conflicting.
Right.
Interests are naturally conflicting.
But
the route I want to take to be president is not necessarily the route the Mr. SPV wants to take, or Mr. Peter, who is a trader in mackerel and sardine, wants to take, or Mr. Kwankwaso, who feels, well, oh, I should have an opportunity. I feel I'm popular enough. I can rule Nigeria. Whether it is true that it's popular enough or not, it's yet to be seen. It's a matter for symposium discussion. But I do know that it's probably not. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't lie in my mouth. Let's go to the field. By the time results come out after 25th of February, we know who is popular. We know who is a joker. We know who is serious. You understand? And we know who Nigerians would have rejected roundly. So it's not for us to pontificate and say a lot of things here. The important thing here is that, look, PDP, APC and PDP will be talked about because they are the biggest parties. There's no way you won't talk about a party that's ruled Nigeria for 16 years. Neither is there any way you won't talk about a party that is in power. Neither Peter Obi's party, what is the name now? Pardon me, Labour Party, or Dr. Rabiu Kwankwaso, good, fine gentleman, party, NNPP, can live up to what it is needed to win elections in Nigeria as we speak. In terms of structure, in terms of outreach, in terms of spread. And that is the truth. And when you now look at, okay, which are the two parties left here, the APC and the PDP, then you begin to look at, okay, I can't vote PDP. PDP is not a human being. I won't vote APC. APC is not a human being. Who is actually representing these ideas? What is the character? Is it the man? You see, because for me, I've been on this for a while. Even in 2015, I argued this. In 2019, I argued this. I'm here arguing this again. I don't know if I'll argue this in 2027. I hope not. I'll be too old. But the point remains that, look, if you work for somebody, Atiku worked for Obasanjo, and Obasanjo wrote a whole book to condemn your character, to smear to tell the world that you are not a man to be trusted, and you didn't take him to court to prove that what he has written about you is not true. Rather, you went back to him to start to lure him, look for his favor. It speaks volumes of your character. Right. And that character is very, very important.
Okay, let's take this call from Port Harcourt. Ihoma calling in. Hello, Ihoma, go ahead.
Hello, good evening. I'm Ihoma Koro. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Please, I want to ask one question. Here, I want to ask one question. And the question is this. In all these things, the way they are campaigning, and they are fighting the saga APC and PDP. Is there no rule for this? And then, what is INEC saying about it? Because I know INEC is supposed to have their own laws. How come they will come to the podium and they will say all sorts of anything they want, and then INEC will not say anything? I thought INEC is the body that is taking care of these people. So why are they not doing anything? APC and PDP. Okay, I was watching the campaign today. What Dino Melai was doing in campaign, he fell down and was making jest of APC. And I know that these INEC people are also watching. So why are they not doing anything concerning this? Are we the one that's supposed to impose this law on them, or you, the journalists? They are supposed to know what to do. When they fail the laws, they know what to do to them, and at least set an example. They should use one party as an example. They are not doing anything. If they are doing something, this thing will not be happening each time they are doing a campaign. That it has been like that in Nigeria. So INEC should stand up and do something. That's my own point. They should stand up and do something. Okay, look at the sitting. Look at the sitting there. We are talking about age, and Nigeria will say the younger we should come out, the youth should come out. The people representing the three parties, they are all old. Are they telling us in their party they don't have young people? I mean, look at Kenneth Okonkwo, he's young. Look at the person representing APC. They are too old. We should get better people that will help us. We the youth, we need better leaders. We need people that will carry us on as youth. We don't want people who will leave us behind and then take the old people. That's what I'm saying. INEC should stand up and make sure the laws
Thank you very much.
are properly kept. That's my own point.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we're on the last lap of this program, and again, as we begin to wind down, we still have to put the again and again and again. We've heard the views of Otumba here about why he says politics has to be this way, because it's not easy for someone who's campaigning to run the office of the president of Nigeria, a massive country like Nigeria. And therefore, the debates, the issues would be heated. But the question, again, is there are guidelines about how these campaigns should be conducted. So, should they not be along those lines, then why not jettison completely the question of guidelines, the agreements which the politicians themselves put pen to paper and accepted too? So why is it not happening?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank Otumba Biodun. Finally, he has conceded that Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso is a gentleman.
No, I know him.
And that he knows who Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso is. And I think there are two issues involved. Ifioma and Felix from Kaduna, I think if I recall the name very well, they are talking about the fact that this kind of people that are fighting for rulership now, for leadership, under APC, PDP, I used to call them now the dinosaurs. They're the two dinosaurs. Their time has passed. They were good in their early age. But now, practically speaking, if we are talking to ourselves, that this is not the time. If you look at Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso, first we are not talking about the age, which is at 66. He is almost a junior brother of a junior brother of a junior brother to all of the others, except maybe Peter Obi. And he has the pedigree. He has the experience. He has the exposure. He has the understanding. Even when we are doing our manifesto, our user blueprint, we set up a committee of which he was directly involved. No paragraph, no sentence was done without him saying this is this. Therefore, that document was organic. It's connected to us. We understood it. And we communicated it. My friend from Yobe was saying that, well, Abdullahi, that he didn't hear of the issues, but he had. For example, NNPP said that immediately Rabi Musa Konkoso is sworn in on 29th of May this year. He's going to scrap all fees concerning JAM, WAEC, NECO, NAPTEP, and everything. Maybe he doesn't have children in school now. If he has, he will know the meaning of that. Secondly, he said that he's going to stabilize the university system. How come, for example, my friend is here, Otumba Abiodun. If he had any children in the university, how did he enjoy their stay at home for 9 months? I'm a university lecturer before I joined politics fully.
Children are in private universities.
Thank you very much. His children are in private school by his own admission. Those of us who cannot afford to take our children in private schools and other, the ordinary Nigerian citizens, look at what you are talking about. Now we said that we must stabilize the university system. We said also that those children that are flying around, like I mentioned earlier in my intervention, over 20 million, most of them in northern Nigeria. Unless you give them education, you're going to have more crises ahead. We have talked about even the use of the NYSC themselves. Instead of just after 1 year you throw them away. Okay. But you also bring about some sort of military training so that they can also be engaged in the system after finishing NYSC. So we also said that we are going to bring about a new, this committee, what we call a committee for orientation and what do you call it? That is a committee for participation and reorientation committees. Yes. From the world level to the local government level to the state level and national level. Why I'm missing is because it's so important in ONOs that we want administration or governance to go beyond local governments. Because what is happening at local government has been destroyed by the governors over the years. So we have a clear mind that the ordinary woman in this country, the ordinary child in this country, even the disadvantaged, those who have special disability will be addressed and focused upon. But we are saying that we are not selling the asset of this country and is not for private taking by any other person. So we are saying that the older generation of this politician now, they are on their departure launch.
Okay. Let me quickly return to the phones for perhaps what would be our last call tonight. Fortune calling in from Port Harcourt. Hello, Fortune. Fortune, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm calling from Port Harcourt, Fortune. Okay, in respect of the guests on your studio, the 4 persons, whatever thing they are saying, they have been saying one thing repeatedly. I think at this point in time, Nigerians is fed up of what is happening in the country. And I think they are not telling Nigerians what actually they wanted to do for Nigerians to have what, as a country that has all the natural resources. First and foremost, none of them have said about on how to tackle this thing. This thing is a very simple thing, but they have no ideology on how to do this thing. Now, first and foremost, we are looking at agriculture in Nigeria, where they are supposed to key in to also tackle the issues of unemployment, where if they can be able to go to the start, example like River State, that have a lot of the soil to do mechanized farming in order to, produce a cassava, to get a cassava processing company that is going to, employ and then also produce over 5 million tons of production every day that can be able to tackle insecurity and then also tackle the problem of unemployment, and then also go to the north to see how they can be able to do mechanized farming in order to increase yam and then rice in production. All these things can be used within the nation and also export to outside country. That is going to give us a lot of revenue and also tackle insecurity and unemployment, because when this is done, it will also help the nation in order to stand these things. Right. If only the persons who are involved have the country at heart and also know what leadership is all about, they shouldn't be talking about what they are talking on the studio. They're expecting that Nigerians are wise, and a lot of things is going to play out in this election. Because when we look at, come to River State, where today there is no constant power supply in the country, where if we can be able to tap into the gas, where we can be able to use gas to generate power supply in this country, it is going to also help the industrialization sector. Production.
All right,
Fortune.
I'm afraid we're running out of time here now, and we have to wind down. So thank you very much. We appreciate your calling in. Thank you so much, Fortune from Port Harcourt. Well, we're just about rounding off. So the discussants here in the studio will just give you just about a minute to make your closing comments about how your parties intend to conduct the rest of the campaigns leading up to the election. Let's start with you, Professor Rufai Ahmed Al-Kali.
Well, I think, thank you very much, Stoba. I think you are a very good anchor man. You'll be able to manage this situation very, very well. And like you have seen, what we have been saying is that what is happening in the streets, there is almost what is happening in the studio to do. But I'm sure gradually now people are getting back to their senses that, look, we as leaders of these political parties, we will work together and make sure that we have not only a free and fair and credible election, but peaceful election. Because already there's a lot of tension in the country. There are so many pockets of violence taking place all over the place. Kenneth just mentioned the case of one of the sole administrator in Imo who was beheaded, just like a warning to many other people. I think we as leaders of these political parties, whatever we say, has capacity to either down the tension or increase tension. For us in NNPP, we believe that we don't go into personality issues, but people, when they provoke us, we have way of responding. But for now, we are saying that we have better opportunity to build a new Nigeria where there is inclusiveness, where there is justice, where there is equity, where the young, the old, the women, and the disabled, everybody will have a sense of belonging in this country.
All right, thank you very much. Yes. Otumba Biodun Ajiboye, your closing comments as well.
Thank you. I am not in any way, or my party is not in any way against building a new Nigeria. As a matter of fact, building a new Nigeria has become quite important and necessary as of today. But I'm saying that out of everyone that's put themselves forward to build a new Nigeria, one person stands out in terms of ideas and experience. And that person has shown what he can do. He has demonstrated what he can do. The whole world has seen what he can do. And, you know, that person is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I appeal to voters to see how and why they must be able to put that person, Bola Tinubu, who turned Lagos from slum to mega city, to turn Nigeria from this problem to enviable eyes.
So thank you very much. Let's quickly go over to Kenneth Okonkwo, spokesperson for the Labour Party. Your closing comments just about how you intend to continue the rest of your campaigns. You have just about less than a minute to do that. We're rounding off now. Go ahead.
Well, my principal has promised Nigerians to give them secured Nigeria. And he's going to do it by restructuring, by retraining, by retooling, and by re-equipping the security agencies. He's going to establish security agencies that is properly manned, properly equipped, and technologically driven. And above all, is going to ensure that there is a cooperation between all the security agencies. You can see that the national intelligence is working at variance with the security agencies. My principal will establish a national command and control coordination center that will coordinate the activities of the national intelligence and the security agencies to ensure that Nigerians are protected. Now, we talk about production-centered growth. When it is pitiable that we have oil flowing like river, we have even built the refineries, yet just to repair these refineries, to ensure production, these two parties for 24 years could not. My principle will increase the supply of oil, will increase the production.
I'm afraid we'll have to, yes, we'll have to let you end it here so that the last discussant can also chip in before we round up.
Honestly, I object to this. But good night.
All right.
Okay, Dr. Cyril.
just
when
Cyril,
the campaign started,
Atiku
Abubakar came out, released my covenant with Nigerians with a well-defined and clear objective for the recovery of Nigeria from the doldrum. He raised the issue of security, and it's fundamental. The economy, education, restructuring, the unity of the country. Throughout the period, we released the manifesto. Atiku Abubakar has been in various debates and town halls and rallies where Atiku articulated his plan for the Nigerian people, well articulated. The reason in the last days of this campaign, you hear people talking about people's character is because even in America, after you have discussed your manifesto, in the closing argument as you go to election, you then interrogate and fact-check what people have said. So Nigeria is making progress in terms of democratic ideal. And Atiku Abubakar, clearly, amongst all of them, has the national experience to lead Nigeria.
All right, and so we must leave this conversation at this point. I always say that no one program can take care of all the issues. The campaigns are still on, and our programs here on NTA will reflect across board, giving a platform on an equitable platform to all the participants, as long as they're conducted within the guidelines so stipulated for the campaign. So I'd like to thank all our guests for being here tonight. Professor Rufai Ahmed Alkali, National Chairman, New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Otumba Biodun Ajiboye, Assistant Director, Media and Publicity Directorate, APC Presidential Candidate. We thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And let me also say a big thank you to Kenneth Okonkwo, a lawyer and spokesperson for the Labour Party. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And Daniel Bwala, lawyer and PDP national spokesperson, thank you so very much for being with us tonight. We thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you. Democracy is noisy.
And thank you very much, you two, for participating, those who called in and for watching. Next week, we'll be back with NTA Tuesday Live. I'm Cyril Stober, just Cyril Stober. Continue to stay safe.
Thank you.
NTA. You can't beat the rich.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go.